What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Dillard, coming back at you with another podcast. Today's podcast is the Barnyard podcast number 29. I am here with my co-host, John, yet again. It's been, 4 or 5 days or so, maybe 6 since the last podcast, so it's been a little bit. It's been a
Couple
little
tough
bit.
days.
Yeah, we will talk about that. There have been some tough days, to say the least. I
Mostly
think that's
happy
kind
though.
of
We've
that's
had some
kind of
good
why
days.
we decided not to make the podcast immediately, because we were both very, very angry, extremely angry,
My voice needed to come back.
and I think we were rightfully so angry. So, what do you want to talk about, John? Do you want to go straight into the Voit Trout debate, which seems ridiculous, or do you want to go ahead and get worked up, get all your pent up energy out of the way, and talk about the Blue Jays series? It's
Neither
up to
crazy.
you.
I don't have any more pent up energy. I feel really good right now. You know what I mean? Like we win a doubleheader, and I just feel happy. Like I don't want to yell about anything
Mhm.
anymore. Like everything's been nailed down. I don't want to throw anything. Like I feel really good. I feel
Mhm.
positive, man. We've had a good day, and the Blue Jays series was less than ideal, but we pulled it out in the end. So I mean, we can talk about whatever you want. What do you want to do? You want to talk about Trout? I feel like you're ready to talk about Trout.
I mean,
You're ready.
honestly, okay. I'll just
You
say this.
came in here swinging.
I will say this and get it out of the way, just to make everybody happy, so we can start this off on a good note and not a negative note. The Yankees looked outstanding today. I mean, the first game of the doubleheader, they shut out the Orioles 6-0. Cole pitches a complete game shutout, only gives up 2 hits,
Two
and then the
hits.
second game, the Yankees win 10-1. I'm not
Yeah,
complaining. And Duhar looks good.
yeah.
Gary Sanchez
Well,
apparently can't catch a break to save his life. I know you want to talk about Gary Sanchez,
no,
which
he actually did he
there
did
was
a thing
there was
today.
a line drive right
Yeah,
to
that was
someone's glove that had a
expected batting average of
700
what,
expected batting
700?
average. Yes, I'm like, this guy cannot catch a
9 games.
break.
He literally hit it against the shift, like away from the shift, and still didn't find grass. Like I
Hmm.
couldn't believe it. So unlucky.
Um, Tanaka. I mean, I know Tanaka was laboring, but I mean, he only allowed one earned run in 5 innings, 91 pitches. He looked solid. Um,
Can we sign DJ Stewart? I want to sign
DJ Stewart is like the new Yankee killer, basically.
dude is like the Randall Grichuk of last year. Like this guy is just killing everything right now. Stop it.
So, like I said,
God.
Andujar looks good.
Yeah.
Brett Gardner
But
for the first game, he looked good. What did he get? Did he get 3 hits? 3 hits?
Gardner, no, Talkman had 3 hits.
No,
I think
Gardner had
Gardner
2 hits
would have
and a
had
walk. That's what I
3.
was thinking of. Gardner had 2 hits and a walk, and Talkman had 3 hits. And Talkman is finally coming out of his shell and finally learned how to swing a fastball.
It
He's
looked
starting to
like,
get back
well,
around to
no,
it.
Talkman still did not hit a fastball today. I think they're all breaking pitches, and the two of them were out of the zone. So he needs to chill out. He just, I don't know
Are
what
you
he's doing.
sure? Are you sure those
Yeah,
weren't?
one was like up here at his neck, and the other one was like down and away in the other batter's box, and he just poked it to the left. And I'm
I
like,
gotta see this real quick because I was almost sure that he hit at least one fastball today.
no, he did not hit. Well, no, he may have hit a fastball, but he didn't hit any of them in the zone. They were all out of the zone.
Let's see, Mike Talkman. Let's see.
I think he had a changeup off of Cobb, which he flicked it into left. The next one was like up at his eyeballs, and then another one was like low or something. It was weird.
Okay,
It was
you're still right. Everything was out of the zone.
right.
Talkman,
It's,
Talkman. This is what makes no sense. Talkman has
it's
one.
so weird.
Talkman has one barrel this season. Do you know where the barrel's at? Right down the middle of the plate. That's it.
And it wasn't on a fastball.
No, it was on a breaking ball.
It's so
That
weird.
does. That makes no
If you
sense.
throw him a pitch in the zone, he's useless. But if you throw him a pitch out of the zone, he gets base hits. It's so weird.
Okay, I want to
I
ask
don't
you.
get it.
I want to ask you a serious question. Outside of Gardner having a really first good game today,
Yeah.
is there a duo more consistent than Gardner and completely whiffing on fastballs down the middle? Is there a
God,
bigger duo? Because he
Mike
seems to do
Talkman.
it on a regular basis. Now it's becoming
Mike Talkman.
Talkman now.
No, Gary
But
Sanchez.
but at least Gary Sanchez, like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to defend him because you're right. You know what? You're
He
right.
fouls
You're right.
off a
You're
couple
right.
of them.
Yeah.
It looks like he has a competitive at bat, and then down 0-2, he spits on a slider and then strikes out.
So basically, in general, though, I mean,
Uh,
like you said,
Oh, Mike Ford too.
We're not going to talk about Mike Ford because there's a lot of things that you would love to say about Mike Ford, and we're not going to, about the way that he makes a certain face whenever he strikes out or does something wrong, the way that he can't hit anything other than a fastball at high level.
He makes a
So,
stupid face. Hate it.
I mean, Gleyber Torres looked good. Gleyber Torres came out the third game against the Blue Jays. Devi Garcia looked amazing.
Needs a glasses sponsorship now because he needs to keep this up. He got to keep wearing them glasses because it's looking good.
I mean, if we want to talk about the Blue Jays series,
but he can wear those glasses.
If we want to talk about the Blue Jays series, I mean, Clint Frazier, the last game at least, not the ones where the Yankees performed atrociously, but the 7-2 victory. I mean, Clint was good. Hicks, two walks. People forget walks. DJ, two walks.
We're in a weird headspace right now where Clint Frazier's not exactly being the most productive with the bat, but it's so weird because it looks like Clint Frazier's learned how to play defense all of a sudden. It's so weird. It's so.
And I actually tweeted.
Also, the thing that I've noticed is that the Yankee players seem to know when game time starts nowadays because they show up in the first inning.
I actually, it's funny you mentioned the whole Clint Frazier thing was because I was looking for his outs above average, but I haven't seen anything to do with outs above average for him at least, but I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's because he hasn't played enough in the field.
I don't think he's qualified in the field yet, but
no, that's the reason why I don't think.
It looks like he's actually making some pretty more than routine plays out there. Like he actually seems to be flagging stuff down and right.
Yeah, and where I was going with that was it might have updated now, but at the time I tweeted this out a few days ago, Clint Frazier he's saved 2 runs and he has a .6 UZR, which is solid. Really and good. Then right here he has a
compared to last year.
He's in the 71%. He's in the 71 percentile for outfielder jump. So I mean, he's been a solid defender. I can dig it. I like it.
I think that like the point I realized it was the Blue Jays series when he flagged down the Vlad Guerrero line drive. That was like, I think that was ticketed for like a 700 batting average expected, and he flagged it down. I was like, oh my God, what is going on here? We're living in this world where all of a sudden Clint Frazier's become a fantastic outfielder. Like, how does this happen? Like this, he's grown up so much since last year with the whole, what was it, the DiMaggio number thing? Or I don't remember what, no, it wasn't DiMaggio. It was Mantle. That's what it was.
Do we want to talk about the pitching though for that last Blue Jays series? That game, it was incredible. Yeah. I mean, Devi Garcia only 2 earned runs in 7 innings. Britton comes out, looks solid. Chapman 3 strikeouts in the 9th inning.
That was the best I've seen Zach Britton throw all year. And Chapman, it looked like they were not ready for Chapman to be able to just fill up the zone like he did. Like I swear to you, the last 2 strikeouts were backwards Ks. Like they were not ready for it. Like he's just throwing 99. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go sit down now. I'll go get some Gatorade and shower.
And then kind of like I stated earlier,
fantastic. Like this kid looks like he knows what he's doing. Like he looks so confident. Like God.
I just love at his age at 21, he doesn't play games. Like he gets up there and he's ready to throw a pitch every single time. He's not messing around. He wants to work through each batter quickly. So I like that.
He knows how to pitch. He knows what he's doing. He's smart. He's confident. He knows he's here because he deserves to be here. I was originally afraid of him because, like I said, when you see a guy come up throw 92 miles an hour, you're like, nowadays it's like everyone's throwing 98. I feel like 92 is not enough to get away with if you make mistakes, but he looks like he can really ramp it up to 95, 96 when he needs to. And he looks like he knows how to locate well, put people away. He's got deception. His windup is really good. Like
his breaking pitches are disgusting. Literally disgusting.
That curveball dropped off a table. Like it's got 2 feet of break on it. It's just disgusting. If he can locate with his fastballs, his fastballs up are so important when he throws curveballs because it means that he can get away with curveballs because they swing at them. They're like, oh, it's a high fastball. And then it works the other way too. You throw a curveball right after you throw a high fastball in the dirt. They swing and miss like crazy. Great. Love it.
And we already knew before he even made his major league debut in minor leagues that he's a big-time strikeout pitcher, and to see him strike out so many guys this early on is a good sign, and I like it. It makes me very excited for his future.
When you saw him come out 3rd time through the order and start mixing in that slider, you're just getting flashes of like Pedro Martinez in your eyes. Because you remember Pedro Martinez used to come out and this is why everyone calls him Young Pedro. Other than the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he looks like him, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Looks just like him.
And
But
Pedro
like
gave
Pedro,
him some kind words on his debut too.
oh
You
yeah,
remember that when he
remember
tweeted that out?
Pedro?
So
Your Pedro would come out and he'd just be throwing, fastball, slider, and then third time through the order would come up, and then he's like, oh yeah, he's also got a really ridiculous changeup too. He would save that until the third time through, because then you're done.
mm-hmm.
Like that's how he would go deep into games, because he'd have that backup pitch that you never see and you're never ready for it, and that's what he was using. He made it through the lineup twice with his fastball, curveball, changeup, which his changeup was ridiculous. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's throwing the changeup down the middle of the plate, and Vlad Guerrero Jr. is flailing at it, and like other people too. Like he used that thing so well, and he just the deception with it is crazy. Like you wouldn't think that him having like an 88-mile-an-hour changeup would be that great, but it really is just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Just God, I want to see him pitch more. I'm so glad he's on our roster when we can actually get to see him pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm still waiting for the Clark Schmidt debut as a starting pitcher, but for now we seem to be in a good spot right now.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Do you want to talk about what you think about J Happ and that other game?
The fact that J Happ has been like on like ace material lately.
Oh my God, he's so good. I don't care if he pitches that way. I'll give him whatever bonus he wants. If he pitches like that, the way he pitched against the Blue Jays and the Mets, if that's the pitcher he is, I would love to see him just like pitch as a 4 or 5 the rest of the way. Like, I'll take that.
Ever since he had that discussion with Aaron Boone, he's just like snapped out of it all of a sudden, and I'm like, what the hell, man? Why couldn't you have done this beforehand?
He looks like a man on a mission, and he doesn't seem like he's 39 years old.
And the thing is, here's the interesting though, his fastball velocity is pretty low. I mean, it's still down. It continues to get worse as he ages.
It looks like it picked up recently because he's throwing like 93, which is more than usual. But like the last start I watched him, his cutter was disgusting. His like it looked like his cutter was getting, maybe it was just the camera angle, but it looked like his cutter had like this great depth to it. And there was the same thing with Britton, for instance. Now I'm jumping all over the place, but like Britton's sinker in the last start, like the last time he played against the Blue Jays, was just disgusting. It looked like a breaking, like his old stuff. It looked like he was throwing like a breaking ball, like a slider. You look at the radar gun, it's 95, 96, and your brain can't comprehend. It's like watching Blake Trinan out there or something. It's nuts.
Here's the interesting thing about J-Happ, just looking at StatCast. Both his horizontal movement and his vertical movement, so the inches of the drop and the inches of break on his fastball, it's decreased this year. Yet it's decreased this year compared to last year. And that's what's so interesting is the fact that he just seems more confident. I wonder if it's like a confidence thing, because J-Happ doesn't seem to be scared anymore of pitching. I mean, I would prefer he doesn't throw meatballs down the middle, but it seems like he's been able to get away with fastballs down the middle of the zone more often. And he's been a little more consistent painting the edges and the corners, which is a good sign.
He's assassinated the top of the strike zone.
And I feel I actually had a conversation with I don't know if you remember, I did a podcast with 2 folks that actually used to work for the Nationals, and they're big into sabermetrics, and they created the new stat that's called K-WAR and G-WAR, which is basically based off of strikes and ground balls that a pitcher gives up. Like, for example, Britton would be high in G-WAR because obviously he is a ground ball pitcher, or Dallas Keuchel or something like that. They would obviously be high in that, while a guy like DeGrom or something would be high in K-WAR, which that makes sense. That's kind of just common knowledge right there. You know what I mean?
I want to go look up some stats real quick. Hold on. You can keep.
But basically, they were saying about J-Happ, and I kind of asked them about it. I was like, what do you think it is? Could it be like the confidence thing? I asked them about that. I was like, could it be the confidence? Because it seems like at that time, that was before the talk that he had with Aaron Boone, and he was just walking too many hitters. You remember that one game in Philly? How many did he walk? 6 batters in like 3 innings? Yeah. It was either 6 and 2 or 3 innings, but still 6 batters regardless is that's terrible. That's not good. He was lacking painting the zone from both at the edges and the corners, and he was just giving up too many meatballs, and he just wasn't getting away with them. And like I said, as of lately, he's been much better at painting the corners and the edges. He's been a lot more proficient, and his command has been significantly better as of lately than it was in the beginning of this. I've actually noticed this. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I want you to kind of fill me in if you agree with this. Remember how he was pitching really solid at the beginning of spring training? We were like, oh, this J-Hap looks outstanding. Like he looks like a 2018 J-Hap. Where I know 21. I know pitching wins don't really mean anything, but he still had like 21 wins that season, right? Like 21-4 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
I have his BB ref up. I can tell you which season.
The 2018 season.
I don't think he got 21 wins. That's a lot.
Let me see.
It was 17-6.
Oh, I'm thinking about the 2016 season. He was 20-4, which a lot of people don't remember that. Which obviously pitching wins don't mean everything, but at the same time, I guess what I'm trying to come with you is you notice that J-Hop pitched very well. He looked very exciting in spring training. That's how he looks right now. He really does. He's been a lot more consistent. His command looks great. And the one thing a lot of people worry about is his fastball because the velocity continues to dip as well as the inches, the break in both the horizontal and the vertical movement. Although those are both down and they continue to drop because I think the key denominator is the only reason that it's continuing to decrease is kind of like the whole Verlander thing. Verlander stopped using his fastball the older he got. Now he's more of a finesse pitcher and he's going to get you off of breaking pitches. And that's worked out outstanding for him. I wonder if Hap either he somehow gains more confidence with a four-seamer to the point where he is right now, where he's pitching consistently, if that's what it takes, or if he starts becoming more of a sinker, slider, changeup pitcher and stops relying less on his four-seamer and kind of does something like, a Verlander, where he stops becoming a try and beat you like a Cole, obviously Garrett Cole doesn't just have a fastball that's reliable, but Garrett Cole can beat you and he throws literal heat. He can throw it by you because he throws so hard and the velocity is ridiculous. How consistent he was. I mean, the guy can basically throw 120 pitches in a game and that last pitch be up in the hundreds. I mean, I saw that on numerous occasions with the Astros last season. So I wonder if Hap switches to more of like a Verlander style, like a finesse pitcher instead of a fastball, because he throws his fastball 42% of the time. I wonder if that would help him or not. I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like the better apt comparison would be like Sabathia, maybe, because it's kind of like, I feel like that's where I would be at, But it looks like you said, he's nailing corners. I think that what I've seen is, I feel like he's kind of gotten away from four-seamers. It's more cutters. It's more sliders, changeups. Like, he's probably got a better pitch mix. Those are the words I'm looking for. I feel like that he's changed his approach. It's no longer like Lance Lynn style, 60% fastballs. I mean, I think Lance Lynn throws, like 70, 80% fastballs all the time. It's not like that because you can't get away with it anymore. Like, he needs to work on having people chase pitches out of the zone, hit the two-seamer front door on a lefty, or like throw a changeup to a righty. Just get them off of the fastball and then change eye levels. Go low, throw a fastball up and away, then come back with a slider and just try to get them to change eye levels. And he needs that kind of stuff to actually get away with it. He's not, like you said, he's not like throwing 97 miles an hour gas like Cole, where, Cole throws 99 miles an hour. And then the reason he gets you a strikeout on a slider is because you have to respect the fact that he throws 100 and you have to be out in front. It's really different pitching down at 90 miles an hour. That's why I'm afraid of other pitchers who throw slow, kind of like I forget the guy's name.
Like James Paxton, whose velo was a concern, kind of like
James Paxton is definitely kind of like why I'm scared, because he needs the velocity difference for you to respect the curveball. And when you bring the velocity down, there's less separation between his slider and his fastball and the curve, and people tee off on the guy. It's like Montgomery. When Montgomery was coming out of spring training, we're like, oh, he could throw 96 miles an hour. That's amazing. And he throws spring training, then he comes in throwing like 92. We're like, I don't remember that being a thing. But, if J-Hap looks like continues like this, he can take the ball every 5 days. I don't care. Go for it.
Speaking of Montgomery and Green and Ottavino, I cannot let this game go untouched because I need to talk about it. We need to talk about it. Let's talk about that 12-7 game. Somehow the Yankees scored 7 runs, which was a pure miracle because the offense just wasn't getting anything done except for the first inning was extremely productive. Luke Voit and Aaron Hicks both hit, they hit back-to-back home runs.
Yeah,
But then the Blue Jays came in and then eventually scored 10 runs in the sixth because Green and Ottavino could not record a single out. How many runs did the Blue Jays? I can't remember, but how many runs did the Blue Jays score before either Green or Adam Ottavino even recorded a single out? Was it like at least 6 runs? It was bad.
Did it record now? I turned it off after it was tied because I had to leave.
It was
I had to walk out.
it was terrible. It looked like, look at this. Green 0.1 innings, 1 hit, 3 earned runs. Adam Ottavino didn't even get through any bit of an inning. 0.0. 6 earned runs, 2 walks. I've never seen Adam pitch that atrocious.
There was an error or two in there that really helped it really fall apart.
And that was on Luke Voit, actually, interestingly enough.
The thing that really confused me about that inning is you've got Chad Green coming here throwing 97 miles an hour with a hook now. And you've got Adam Ottavino, who we've seen his stuff. His stuff is disgusting. His stuff, when you watch him pitch, makes you question how anybody in baseball has a batting average because his two-seamer is crazy and his slider breaks the other way. And they both come from the same release point. It doesn't make any sense. You have to question yourself how anybody other than guessing has a batting average in baseball. But for some reason, they combined for 60 pitches and 1 swinging strike. It was the weirdest thing ever. Either their stuff was really flat or they're tipping. One of those two things is definitely the case. I think Chad Green had a rough night because the guy just spat on a curveball and realized that, oh, this guy can't throw a curveball for strikes. Mm-hmm. If it's not a fastball, I'm not swinging at it. Maybe that's Green, but Ottavino doesn't make any sense to me because I thought the pitch that he threw to who was the catcher? Danny Jansen. I thought that
the grand slam.
Pretty decent, honestly. It was up in the zone, elevated coming into a righty. I thought it was a pretty good pitch, and he tattooed it about 3,000 feet away. I'm just like, man.
That's the thing about baseball. A lot of people don't understand that even good pitchers can make great pitches, and then somehow any hitter in the league, even if they're a below league average hitter, can somehow get lucky and just put the barrel on the ball. And that's what happens. It's baseball. You can't predict it.
It was weird when after the post game they're talking about like they knew it was coming, and everyone in the comment section is like, oh, he's saying they're cheating. I'm like, no, he's saying that he's tipping his pitches, and someone watches the video, and because there's a lot of it, they literally have people pay them to sit there and pore over video and look for this kind of stuff. And it's kind of a cat and mouse game. You're trying to you yourselves are trying to find it and police it in the background where no one can see it, and they're trying to look at it and figure it out, kind of like a la the Houston Astros. I'm sorry to mention it, the Astros against Glasnow last year. They figured out his tip and they hammered him for it, and it's not cheating.
This is kind of random, but because of the Astros being able to figure him out and Glasnow tipping his pitches, you have to wonder, because the Rays were giving him a run for their money, do the Rays beat the Astros if he's not tipping their pitches? If he's not tipping his pitches, that's a very interesting conversation. The Rays could go. The Rays could go and play the Yankees in the ALCS that year. I mean, who knows what would have happened from there on out? But I mean, there's a possibility that could have happened.
It could have happened. I mean, I'm not the person to tell you it's cheating. It's gamesmanship. It's a perfectly valid thing. If you can figure out a guy's telegraphing pitches, then you abuse it. It's fine. But it's kind of hard because I watched the video and I didn't see anything offhand. I mean, it could be something that the cameras don't show you. It could be in their pace. It could be something in their, like somebody said that during the Braves series, Cole was tipping pitches because of the way that he checked runners. There was a time where Severino actually was tipping pitches because before he threw a slider, he would check the runner at third before coming home, but when he threw a fastball, he would just not check the runners at all, and people figured that out. It could be something completely that you never even notice, but these guys notice it, and they get paid to notice it, and it can happen. So I'm not closed off to the idea that somebody figured out a tip. I don't know. Hopefully the fact that, Ottavino's had a couple days off, maybe we get him in tomorrow and we see what's up with that. I don't know. But the Blue Jays will never tell us. We had to figure it out on our own. Hopefully Matt Blake can work with them and figure it out. I don't know.
Kind of random.
Today, but they didn't.
kind of random, but during one of the Blue Jays series, one of the games in the Blue Jays series, did you see that nasty backdoor fastball that
Oh my
Michael
God, by
King
Michael
had? That
King.
was disgusting. I was like,
Oh
how is
my
that even
God.
possible?
My favorite part about that was he threw it and he was already walking to the dugout by the time that he threw it. He was like, I'm out. See you later.
Dude, that was one of the most filthy pitches I have seen this year. That was disgusting.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember. I remember whenever I recorded. I remember
Shout out
whenever I
to
recorded that. Whenever I recorded that, because I do like the Yankees highlights and stuff throughout, and a
Yeah,
lot of people follow me
couldn't
because of
believe
that. Whenever I posted that, there was like 6 people who put pitching ninjas in the mentions, and I'm like, please make a
Yeah,
video on it, please. That is disgusting. And
Yeah,
he
Pitching
did.
Ninja should have posted that. He's got crazy good stuff.
He
That's why I
did.
get
Like
frustrated when Michael King doesn't throw strikes.
literally, I think it was like maybe 5 minutes after I posted that, he posted something about it, and I was like, yes, let's go, Michael King.
Everybody's really upset. They're like, "Oh man, our farm system has nobody in it. Like, we got nobody left right now. Like you've got Garcia, Clark Schmidt, Michael King in there. They look pretty good right now. I'm not gonna lie, Michael King. If you can get him to throw strikes, if you can get Garcia looks really good, and Clark Schmidt looks filthy too. Like I think he struck out the side last time he played them or something like that. Like it looks pretty good right now.
I felt bad for Clark because Clark came out in the game where the Yankees got hammered with 10 runs in the inning, so nobody seemed to give a damn about what Clark Schmidt did, even though he came out there and did really well, did his job.
Yeah, he did pretty well. I mean, he got roughed up. Like that's a tough situation to be put in for your major league debut. I mean, like there's only a few pitchers I can even think of that get put in that situation, and you can consider a possibility for them to get out of it. Like David Robertson is like, that's the list. That's all I got. It's like, because the dude's a magician. He just make bases loaded situations disappear. I don't know what to tell you.
Magician like Javier Baez?
Yeah, or kind of like that. Yeah.
They call him the magician in Chicago. But anyways.
It makes his batting average disappear.
Yeah, he actually has been not that great this year, to be honest with you.
He's one of the lowest on base percentages in the league right now.
I'm going to look that up, actually, before we continue.
I'm pretty sure he's one of the lower OBPs in the league right now.
He has yikes.
Right?
Oh, my. A 235 on base percentage.
His batting average is 196. If his batting average is 196 and his OPS is on base is 235, that means he does not walk a lot.
His OPS is a whopping 592. Yikes. Ooh. That would make I have, outside of like Rizzo and Bryant, I take that back. I've been paying attention a lot to Ian Happ because Ian Happ has been smoking the cover off of baseballs, and the Cubs should have played that man sooner. That was an absolute Cardinal sin that he didn't get more chances because he is an absolute force. That guy can play baseball.
Cover art wasn't Baez the cover art for this year's the show, or was that the Bryce Harper year?
That was
was that 18? That was 18, right? Or 19. It was one of those years.
I don't know. I don't want to get this wrong, though.
Maybe he's
yes, he was. Javier Baez. It's the curse. It's like the Madden curse.
Madden curse. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The Madden curse has infected baseball now.
Poor Javier.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because Javier, when he's at his best, is a very exciting player. I mean, I think he's a bit overrated, but I still think he's an exciting player when he's at his best. I mean,
he strikes out a lot. He seems to be an all or nothing hitter.
Who does that remind you of? A guy who never takes a walk but strikes out if anything.
Gary Sanchez.
No.
Oh.
A guy who literally never walks. He may walk every once in a blue moon. He plays Reynolds? On the Yankees right now.
Mark Reynolds was a Yankee.
No, right now.
Plays on the Yankees right now. Doesn't walk.
Yes, and I will go to his BB percentage.
Is he on the active roster right now?
He has a whopping 4.2 BB percentage in his career.
Is it Mike Ford?
No.
Are you sure it's not Mike Ford?
No.
I'm sure he has a low walk percent, though.
Well, I'm not talking about Mike Ford. I'm talking about this legend. He's finally starting to come out because he's getting more plate appearances. He's getting more reps, which is what people have been dandying. Yes, Miguel Andujar, the guy who never walks. He will literally swing 50 feet out of the zone before he takes a walk. I don't get it. I do not understand it. What are you looking up right now?
Do you know how many walks Mike Ford has this year?
1,
More than that.
3.
I know you're gonna be shocked, but it's more than that.
I'm gonna cheat and go 6.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's good.
His BP percentage is a 7.4%. That is still better than Miguel Andujar. That's still better than Miguel Andujar. That's still better. Did you forget he had a 10.4 BB percentage last year? He was a walk machine last year, man. He had a 350 on base percentage last year. 134 WRC plus.
Yeah,
he was
but last year was a
good.
fluke.
I mean,
Last year was
you're
a
not
fluke.
wrong. To be honest with you, it's starting to
So
look like it.
far.
Although I will
So
say,
far.
here, I will say this, okay?
What were we gonna say about Miguel Andujar?
No, not Miguel Andujar.
off track.
I'm done talking about Miguel Andujar. We already know about Miguel Andujar. If he gets more reps, he's going to be good, but his defense is never going to change. I don't want to see him at the hot corner ever again, period. I don't think anyone wants to. Anyways, Mike Ford. I want to talk about Mike Ford because I know how much you don't necessarily like seeing him, but I will say there are a lot of times that I can give Mike Ford the Gary Sanchez treatment in a sense that he gets robbed. He'll have these hard hit balls where he gets the barrel on the ball and drives it, and it goes right into a fielder's glove with like a 700 batting average, expected batting average, like Gary Sanchez. It happens to him too.
Yeah,
quite a bit actually.
I'll give you that, but like Mike Ford today made a catch where he tried to make a catch where it looked like Odell Beckham trying to catch footballs in practice. He's just like, I'm just gonna.
Okay, we're talking about hitting. Okay,
We're trying to overlay the thing like he's Willie Mays. I'm like, you know Willie Mays, buddy. Stop it.
Here's the thing. We know both Voit and Ford, their strong suit is not defense. We've known that for a while.
Defensive replacement.
Probably because the Yankees were up 10-1. There was no reason to keep Voit out there on his foot. Voit is literally recording 6 RBIs, 2 home runs on a bad foot.
The game where Jorge Posada played second? I do. Put somebody else in there. Anybody else. Please. I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest right now. Like, the guy looks like he doesn't belong there. He looks like he should do something else. I
want to look this up because you say that and I remember it, but I want to know how many innings Jorge Posada had.
Do you remember the throw? He threw the ball like he threw a missile to first base. Like he almost knocked over.
Folks, you heard it here first. Jorge Posada in 2011 played a whopping 1 inning.
Yeah.
A one inning at second base and has a better UZR than Mike Ford does.
Yeah, right.
He has a better UZR than a majority of the fielders in the league.
So bad, man.
That's so funny. Like, who even...
Mike Ford, look, you can keep him on the roster, but just make him play for the grounds crew or something. Just please, just put him somewhere else.
Like, I don't even care if 1 inning is literally like the smallest sample size imaginable. The fact that Jorge Posada even had a .1 UZR is spectacular at second base. I don't care what anyone says.
The Red Sox taped Pedro Martinez to the pole. Just tape him to the pole. Just don't let him play. God. That's the only thing I'm going to get mad of. Like, he tried to Olay the ball. And yeah, he made up for it. He him. But, come on. You're up 10-1. Stop, trying to be cute and make a catch like you get paid to do it.
I still can't get over the fact that you had to mention that. That's so funny. That Jorge Posada has played a whopping 1 inning at second base. That's amazing.
Changed my mind.
Jorge Posada at second base is better than Miguel Andujar at the hot corner. Changed my mind. Yeah. Can't change my mind, period. It's never happening.
What about putting Russell Wilson in the field?
Okay, we talked about Russell Wilson earlier, but who was he facing? Who was the pitcher? Do you want to tell everybody? Like, come on, that's not even fair for Russell Wilson.
Look, I want to be honest, he had a better at-bat than Mike Ford usually does.
Yikes. Well, if we're talking about 2019, no, but 2020, yeah, kind of. I'll give you that.
Look, as this always happens, whenever I talk trash about someone, they do very well the next day. So look,
Mike Ford's going to hit 2 home runs tomorrow.
With 2 home runs, and he's going to drive in 5, I can't wait.
All
That's
right.
not a big plan tomorrow.
That is a very hot take right there, considering how poorly he's played this season.
I
That's
mean,
a
he has many walks
hot
as hits
take.
right now. I mean, seriously. I mean, he's a left-handed batter in Yankee Stadium, where Curtis Granderson made such a career out of it that people are looking back on it and being like, oh, maybe Curtis Granderson used steroids. And, like, that's how crazy his career was, because he hits 42 home runs in Yankee Stadium. And Mike Ford is living in this world where shortstop is,
Ah,
like, 6 feet away from him, and he can't hit a home run. What are you doing?
kind of random, but I'm not going to miss the game tomorrow, or actually technically today, because this podcast is going to be uploaded on the 12th of September,
Yeah.
which actually it already is the 12th because we're recording it so late. I didn't realize how late it was. But beside the point, I just noticed because I wanted to see the pitching matchup between the game tomorrow because I knew it was Jordan Montgomery, but I didn't know who we were facing. I didn't notice that I will be missing it due to work tomorrow. Sad face. But the Astros and the Dodgers play tomorrow. That's gonna be fun.
Oh, oh man. Did you see Joe Kelly visited the mural?
Yes, that was wasn't that his whole family? He's like,
that's really funny. Yeah, that was really fun. That's crazy.
That's so great. I love Joe Kelly.
Right
Joe Kelly for president,
Joe Kelly
please.
mural.
Joe Kelly
Joe
is the
Kelly-
face of baseball. I said
Joe Kelly
it.
is now the #1 Dodger until the next time he pitches again. And then he'll not be the #1 Dodger anymore.
So
Does he pitch tomorrow? Do you think he pitches
No.
against the Astros?
Well, man, I mean, it just depends. It depends. We'll see. We'll see how many runs because the Astros they are below 500 now.
Yeah.
So I
They're
mean,
having a
who
tough year.
knows? The Astros have been having a
Oh,
tough
no.
year. So there was a game. I think it was their last game they played against the Athletics.
I got my violin.
The last game the Astros played against the Athletics, if I'm not mistaken,
My God, they got destroyed.
they had 2 hits.
Yeah.
And one of them wasn't George Springer. One of them wasn't Altuve. One of them wasn't Bregman or Correa. One of
They're
them
all
was
hurt.
like
I know Altuve is out. Isn't Springer? I mean, isn't Bregman out too? I thought he like really got messed up.
let me look this up because I don't want to be wrong about this.
While you look this up, I want to talk about wax poetic about my favorite baseball player. Although you wouldn't figure it out if you had talked about it. Like,
Okay,
the way
here we go. I found it real quick. You hold that thought. You hold that thought, John. Okay, George Springer, no hits. Bregman, no hits. Brantley, no hits. Gurriel, no hits. Carlos Correa, no
Brantley,
hits.
no hits
Do you
is a
know who?
surprise.
They got 2 hits that whole game. Do you know who those 2 hits were? Josh Reddick and,
Reddick.
Diaz.
Yeah,
Reddick and Diaz. That's
Hold
it.
on, what
That's literally
Brent-
it.
batting average this year? He's always a good batter. 310. That's
Sean
really good.
Manaea had an incredible game. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits.
Sean Manaea, and then I think Jesus Luzardo came in too, and like just put the icing on the cake.
And kind of random, but have you noticed because of the one bad start already, or actually I think it's 2 bad starts now that he's had, Athletics fans already want to shoot Mike Minor into the sun. Like they're already done with Mike Minor, and they just traded for Mike Minor. And they already want him off the team. It's like that's not good. Go ahead. What were you saying earlier? I want to hear this.
Like, come on, he's a deadline acquisition.
What were you saying about earlier?
I want to wax poetic about my favorite Yankee.
Okay.
Although, my boy Gary Sanchez, he struggled. I get it. But the other day, all right, so his last at bat against the whatever team we were playing, the Orioles. That's it. His last at bat against the Orioles, I was very impressed. I just want to pull up his at bat because I really want to get this one right. So bear with me. His approach is what I've been screaming about. If you guys have watched other podcasts, I've been screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm like, Gary, look, you can't pull everything. You have success when you go to right center. Just stay back and try to hit the ball to right center, and I guarantee you'll see success. And what did he do? What did he do in his last at-bat? I'm pulling up Game Day just to make sure I got this right. I thought it was a fastball, but I just want to double-check. I think it was the 6th inning. Nope, it was the 5th inning. That's right, because he got Yeah. Gary singles on a sharp line drive. So the first pitch is away. The second pitch is away. And then he takes a ball up high. And then he's like, man, this guy is going to keep pounding me away. He throws this dude a curveball down and away, and he goes with it to right center. And I'm like, yes, thank you. He just barely missed a home run. but he crushed it. I swear it was like 105 off the bat. I'm like, dude, if you can do this and you know they're gonna pitch you away, you've got to go with pitches outside. You can't pull them. You have to go with them the right, and that's where when he's going well in 17, that's when he was at his best. I specifically remember the game I went to was ALCS Game 5 against the Astros. It was a Game 5? No, it was Game 4 because, yeah, that was the game after Tanaka.
I know what hit you're talking about.
It was the one against Giles where Giles throws him a 99-mile-an-hour fastball and he goes with it to right center with Didi running. I'm like, that is premier. What I remember Gary Sanchez being not a pull hitter, but being that opposite field hitter. He did it against the Indians too. I was at the game too. He took a pitch away and shot it out to right center into the lower deck. And I need him to do that. That is what he is good at. Yes, he can pull things that are under his hands. That's fine. But he needs to realize that if the ball's away, he can't pull that. He's just going to pull off of it, and he's either going to hit a weak tapper or he's going to strike out like he's been doing. And that's why I think he's been striking out so much. It's not because he can't hit. Well, that's one reason. But, like, he just keeps pulling off of everything. Just change your approach, and they've been working with him, and hopefully that single means that tomorrow he's going to go off. Just please. I want to see him succeed so badly. He's my favorite player. I love him.
And you know what's interesting about you saying that? You know how Paul O'Neill loves to have his basement sessions in Ohio now? Yes. He actually, a few weeks ago, Paul exactly mentioned what you did. He's like, when Gary Sanchez is pushing the ball to right center, he is at his best. He's in his prime.
He gets to right center with that swing, and he sits back on it and lets the ball travel to him and just has an inside-out swing. It's great because he crushes it. And I
will put some more respect on Gary's name. Remember how earlier we were talking about that one blast right to some fielder's glove? I can't remember who it was, but to the fielder's glove. Too. Yeah, it had a 700 expected batting average, but it went pretty much right center. And it's like that's his sweet spot. That's his sweet zone.
They've been trying to beat him with curveballs, and he's just been like, nah, thanks. He looks like to me, it looks like if he continues with this approach and he doesn't get pull happy, it looks like he'll pull out of this nosedive. I'm ready. I'm ready to get my catcher back. And also, by the way, his defensive plays has been phenomenal, by the way. Don't run on Gary.
Oh, I can't remember which specific pitch it was, but there was one of Cole's pitches. Wait, was it Cole? No, wasn't it Kyle Higashioka? Kyle Higashioka was playing the first game. Today, yes. Okay, so no, it wasn't that. It was Tanaka. One of the strikeouts that Tanaka had was clearly out of the zone, and Gary Sanchez did a phenomenal framing job bringing that back in the zone and fooling up. That was phenomenal.
He worked him.
Like, that's what I love to see. I love to see that.
You know your catcher is doing well framing when the other team's bench is screaming in the second inning. That's how you know. But my favorite part was the last two nights these people try to run on him, and he just throws them out by a mile. Great. Grichuk with the toot bland thrown on the bases like a nincompoop, as we like to call it. He gets thrown out down 3 to end the inning. Like, what are you doing? And then today, I think it was Cedric Mullins got thrown out trying to steal too. Yeah. Just absolutely phenomenal. Just that's what you love to see. I remember in the past he's had some issues throwing. And this is the guy who threw out Mike Trout. That's no easy task. And he threw him out. He's got a cannon, man. Like, even if the bat's not there, he's looked so good on defense this year. I mean, he's had a couple wild pitches get away from him, but, like, he's been – last couple weeks, I've been so impressed with him. Like,
and it's kind of interesting that you say that because I think the last thing we should talk about is this topic I've been wanting to talk about since the beginning. But I do – No, I do not want to talk about Eric Kratz. Okay, I'm done. People are gonna come into my mentions and tell me I'm an idiot because I like Gary Sanchez more than Eric Kratz. Although I will say, here's the thing: I don't want Eric Kratz starting over Sanchez. But you know what I will admit about Eric Kratz? He's a very good guy. He's a very good human being, and he will become a manager one day. I mean, I think he'll become. I'm not going to say he'll become a successful coach or manager, but I think he'll find a spot in managing. I mean, he fits that personality criteria. He's a guy that everybody can like because He's just a good-natured human being.
He's
Simple as
really
that.
good with the young Latino players in everyone's system. Like I haven't heard anyone ever say anything bad about the guy, except for the fact that you and me say bad things about him all the time.
Well, here's the thing: we don't say anything bad about we don't criticize his personality though. We know he's a good human being. It's not because I want to get back at him or get at him or get at the people that claim that I'm an idiot because I'd rather have Gary Sanchez. It's simply because of the fact that Gary has proven that he's a better catcher than Eric Kratz in a larger sample size. That's all it is. That doesn't mean I hate Kratz. It simply means I want the best players playing on the team. I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand. It doesn't mean it's kind of like the whole A-Rod Jeter debate. Just because you like A-Rod more than Jeter doesn't mean you're a Jeter hater and vice versa. That's stupid. Right. That's dumb. Can we can we just stop with that? That doesn't make any sense.
Turns out A-Rod was a pretty good hitter.
Turns out he was actually, this might be controversial, but he was a more consistent and a more productive hitter than Jeter was throughout his career.
Now that might have been because of the steroids, but other than that.
Anyways.
You'll never know.
It's interesting that you talk about Sanchez throwing out Trout because I think about this all the time. Yeah. I think about this. Trout is a pretty big dude. He's a buff dude. Yeah, he's as of like actually 2019, 2018, he's been consistent since 2018. Since 2018, Trout has been in the 94 percentile for sprint speed. I mean, the dude is big, but he is quick. Really weird.
I'm still waiting for Mike Trout's 40-40 season to happen. It's so weird because he's gotten so close. Mm-hmm. I think that every year he gets more than 40 stolen bases, he doesn't get 40 runs, and every year he got 40 runs, he would not steal bases. So strange. Was it 30-30? I think it was 30-30, not 40. It's like every time he gets close, he wins in one category, but not in the... It's so strange. I'm just waiting for 30-30.
There is one thing in this universe, and this is a rarity for me to say this, but there is one thing that the GOAT himself, Mike Trout, has not been good at. Can you guess what that one statistic is that he is in the 1 percentile range for, which is actually insane when you think about it? Can you guess what it is?
Oh, I know what it is. It's World Series appearances.
No. That doesn't count. You need a team to win games, not just one player.
Appearances. All 6 of those at-bats of his.
Can you think of
what is Mike Trout not good at other than winning? Because that team is going backwards. Well, I guess he walks a lot. He steals bases a lot. He slugs a lot. He's pretty good at fielding.
Which since 2016, he's been pretty much in the bottom for this statistic.
Wow, since 2016?
Yeah.
Man,
which in 2000, like for example, like 2018, he was in like the 90 percentile range for outs above average. So he's kind of went back and forth with outs above average. He's been kind of inconsistent with it, but specifically, what is he in the 1 percentile range for right now? And he's been out here for multiple seasons. He's been at this for this year, and he's been at that range for 2017, and in 2016 he was in the 2nd percentile for this, which is really strange when you think about it. Because I didn't think he was bad at anything.
I can't think of anything specifically. I mean,
it's not a very obvious statistic, so if you don't guess it, I won't blame you. You kind of have to look at StatCast to find it out.
Caught stealing percentage?
Nope. It's gonna be like It's gonna be like a.
It's gonna be like the Paul McCartney thing again.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to guess it. We're gonna sit here for 2 hours, and you're finally gonna guess it. No.
Is it not ISO?
Nope.
Is it R-War?
Nope.
How about UZR?
Nope.
Really? I'm trying to guess obvious statistics, but like obviously this ain't chief.
I will give you one hint. I talked about the statistic with Clint Frazier earlier.
Oh, is it really? Is it Sierra?
No, Sierra's a pitching stat. Clint Frazier's not a pitcher, John. What are you doing? What are you talking about?
Definitely in the top 1% of Sierra, though, because he doesn't pitch very much. So what you're telling me is that Kurt Suzuki is a great pitcher. What's his Sierra?
I don't know. I don't know what a Sierra is. Why
Not
didn't you
Kurt
find?
Suzuki.
Why didn't you find
Not Kurt
out?
Suzuki. I'm thinking of Ichiro. I had the wrong Suzuki. I'm sorry. God, I can't think of it. I know what it is. It's vertical jump.
Outfielder jump. Can you believe that?
What's
There's
it with
something
Mike?
that Mike Trout is not good at?
Come on, man. Why can't you? Why can't? That's so weird. I see him rob home runs all the time.
I don't know.
Maybe it's because he's tall and he just like reaches over the wall. And, I got it.
Because, okay, he's not the greatest fielder in the world, but he's definitely not anywhere near bad.
Compared to Ramon Laureano, how good his.
I mean, 12.8 UZR. Here's the thing that gets Trout, even though it's not a big defensive stat in terms of outfield, but in his career, he has a -2 DRS, which is kind of surprising.
That's strange, but then again, I mean, you are competing against people like Betts and
Judge and Betts. I mean, they're within the top of DRS, and they're outfielders. It's insane.
It's so weird because I think whenever I think of people playing great outfield, I think of Fishman, but obviously there's other people there. That's
there's
strange.
plenty of people that play way better defense than he does. The thing is, it doesn't matter because offense is a big portion of your production, and Trout literally outperforms everybody by a country mile. That's why he's the best, simply put it.
So what do you think about him, his MVP chances over Voit?
Yeah, that's the last thing we wanted to talk about, and John finally had to mention it. We talked about it before the podcast, and I mentioned it as something I wanted to talk about before the podcast was over, because people who genuinely think that Luke Voit is in the same conversation as Mike Trout right now, I'm sorry, but you're delusional.
There's no way.
There's no way.
I'm gonna have to agree with you.
I mean, this is why, and I know what you said before the podcast. I'm gonna say it for everyone. I don't need to look at stats to know that Mike Trout is performing better than Luke Voit is.
It looks like he's killing it right now. I don't know what to tell you.
But here's the thing. Though. If we look at the here's the thing. We look at the average. Obviously, the average. I'm not a big average fan, but we're just gonna go through we're just gonna go through all the statistics to make everybody happy, regardless if you're an average or whatever.
You have BB Ref Luke Voit, or do you want me to
No,
give
I have Fangraphs up for both of them right now.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna go deep.
Yes. So I got everything covered from, like I said, all the basic stats, everything. So we look at the average. Trout a 303 average compared to a Voit 285. So Trout beats him there. Trout 400 on base percentage. As good as Luke Voit is, he still only has a 353 on base percentage.
302 for Trout.
So then we go to slugging. 664 slugging for Trout and a 629 for Voit. Then we go to WOBA, 430 WOBA for Trout, and then a 407 WOBA for Voit. Then we go to WRC Plus, 179 for Trout, 161 for Voit. Yes, I understand the home runs. Also, Trout does have 3 more RBIs than Voit does. But, literally, it's like every single statistic from average to OPS to WRC Plus to even F4. Trout has a 2.1 F4 right now. Luke Voit has a 1.1 F4. He has a full win above replacement over him. How can you genuinely, with a straight face, think that Luke Voit is better than Trout? Don't get me wrong, Voit has been incredible. Voit has been awesome, especially considering Voit has had a bad foot for God knows how long. He's been incredible. But to say that he's been performing better than Trout, that's just delusional.
The thing, to me, like when I say eye test, it's the fact that Mike Trout plays a premium position, he plays an outfield position very well, and Luke Voit plays essentially what has been reduced to a DH position for, like, let's say Pujols, for instance. Like, he plays a position that's not very highly rated in terms of defense, and to be fair, he's not that great of a defender. To be perfectly honest with you, he makes routine plays look very difficult. I'm pretty sure he'd have some difficulty getting to the front of the line at Taco Bell half the time because of the way that his footwork just doesn't work half the time. Like you watch him get crossed up on grounders. It's strange. But I mean, you think about, like I said, the eye test. You see Trout hit home runs, and you see him steal bases, and you see him like I don't see Luke Voit getting pitched around. I see Trout getting pitched around though, because people are scared of him. I don't see Luke Voit getting pitched around because Luke Voit has these weird at bats where sometimes he just looks at strike three and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna go sit down now, get some Gatorade, and just go hang out with my friends. But to be fair, I mean, if you want to talk about the fact that people are out there like, oh, Luke Voit is the leader of this Yankee team, how did that work for LeMahieu last year when he finished third in MVP voting last year, being the leader of the New York Yankees behind Mike Trout and Bregman? So that's what I'm saying, is that he's had a great season. However, he's not Fishman. I'm sorry.
No one
Like,
is. That's the
you need
thing.
Fishman to like fall off for the rest of the year and have Luke go off and literally finish above 300 batting average and hit maybe like 22 home runs at this point. Like he's gonna have to go off the rest of the year. And truthfully, I don't see him doing that just because people are gonna try to pitch around him at this point and try to pitch to everybody else. Because I mean, take your chances. You're either gonna be like, do I want to pitch to the guy with 16 home runs, or do I want to pitch to Brett Garner batting behind him, batting 180 with still more home runs than JD Martinez?
And that's the thing. If you want to go to even more in-depth measures, I mean, even as good as Voit is, Voit doesn't even have near as high of a BB percentage as Trout does. Voit doesn't steal bags like Trout does. Voigt's base running isn't better than Mike Trout's. Mike Trout has more ISO. Mike Trout strikes out less, even though I don't think strikeouts always mean everything, but still he strikes out less than Voit, and he has a higher average with balls in play. So my point is you could literally name pretty much every statistic, and Trout outperforms Voit, if not by a significant margin. Even though as good as Voigt's been, it's Trout. I mean, Trout's won 3 MVPs, a Rookie of the Year.
I need to make a correction. I apologize. Brett Gardner and JD Martinez are currently tied for home runs. Forgive me.
That's a blue moon right there. When is that going to happen again?
JD Martinez has 4 home runs.
So
it just really shows you how much of an outlier he.
So I want to ask you this.
Sure. Let me hear it. Oh, by the way, we're only half a game behind the Blue. All we need to do is. This is gonna sound weird, but pray the Mets win tomorrow. I mean.
And bludgeon the Orioles for the next 2 games and continue the streak. So is Voit gonna win MVP?
No.
Okay. Here's an okay. We already know that. Okay. It kind of goes back to the whole thing where people are like, well, why should Trout win MVP when he doesn't even play on a team that's going to do anything? And it's like MVP literally stands for most valuable player.
He drags that team out of mediocrity into competition. Like if he's not there, then like that team is spinning around in circles. Well, him and that Dylan Bundy obviously this year, but like that team is so lost without him. It is really bad. It's the Jose Bautista factor with Encarnacion. Like he makes their batters better just by existing in that lineup.
And that's the thing I've never understood, because a lot of people used that argument last year. They're like, LeMahieu was more significantly impactful for his team, and I'm like, not according to wins above replacement.
Yeah, it's really
Trout is contributing more wins above replacement than DJ was.
Well, that being said, DJ was split between 2 positions that are predominantly dominated by very, very prolific fielders in this league, such as Chapman at third, and I don't know who played at second. Who won Gold Glove at second? Was that Tim Anderson this year? Was that Tim Anderson last year? Who won the Gold Glove?
Was it DJ LeMahieu?
No, did DJ win the second base Gold Glove? I think he did over somebody else.
I'm gonna look this up.
Hold up, we're technical difficulties. We need to Google this.
No,
Yomer Sanchez.
Yomer Sanchez and Colton Wong. But
Yeah.
DJ LeMahieu won it back-to-back years in 18 and 17 with Colorado, and then won it in 14 again with Colorado.
I mean,
But
look,
besides the
look. I'm
point.
sorry. Luke Voigt's not going to win MVP this year. I'm sorry. It's okay. He's had a great year. That doesn't mean you throw this year away. It's okay. He'll win a Silver Slugger this year. It'll be great. Come back next year, and we'll just enjoy watching him play. Like, it's okay.
He doesn't have to be an MVP for us to enjoy him, okay?
Right.
You don't need to boast about him MVP.
Like, wow, he had a great year.
People literally forget Trout exists in this league, which is crazy because do you know who is currently leading in F4 right now in the American League?
Eric Kratz?
No.
Are you sure?
No, not Eric Kratz.
Huh. Who is leading in F4 right now? Matt Chapman?
No.
Um.
Here's what's interesting. Here's the real kicker. Here's the kicker. He plays on the exact same team as Mike Trout does.
Is it really Rendon?
Yes.
Wow.
Anthony Rendon and Mike Trout are first and third in F4. Can you guess who? Can you guess who's number 2 in F4? He doesn't play any defense, and the dude never ages.
Is it Nelson Cruz?
Yes.
You didn't even have to tell me he never ages. You would have said he plays no defense, and I've been like, oh, it's Nelson Cruz. Man, speaking of Nelson Cruz, what happened to Steve Pearce? He fell off the table, didn't he?
Literally. Not even kidding.
It felt like he won the World Series and then walked out the door. That's it. See you later. He went Michael Strahan on us.
Jeez, that's rough. Considering you're a Giants fan, that's rough.
Yeah. No, I mean I'm happy to see Strahan retire. I mean, God. Anyway, is there anything else you have to add to the conversation?
No. I just wanted to make people convince people in their own ways to twist our words around, and what I'll be seeing on Twitter from a few days from now is apparently I hate Luke Voit, and Trout is a significantly better hitter.
I love.
I don't know.
For anybody out there, like, I'm full log cabin for Luke Voit right now, but I mean I can't tell you who's gonna win MVP.
But
I'm sorry.
Like, here's the thing though. Like Luke Voit is like 25th in the American League for like F4. Like he's so far behind other people right now. So
yeah. I mean, it's in a weird year where, like, we lost Betts, and that was a great opportunity for someone to come in and usurp that spot from Trout. But, man, Fishman has that new father spirit inside of him. He's just going off. You just have to get away from him to calm down, or, maybe something happens. I don't know. Maybe Luke Voit goes off. He wins MVP, and we look stupid. I hope that's the case, but part of me...
The odds are not in his favor when you have Trout in the league.
I mean, let me be real with you. I think the better odds on end right now is not Luke Voit MVP, but hopefully it's DJ LeMahieu batting title. That would be really the coolest, not just for us as fans, but for just seeing someone win a batting title in both leagues. I think would be really fantastic. And I mean, at that point, you begs for a contract. Like, how can you not extend this guy? Mm-hmm. Surprised they haven't talked with this guy yet. Like, come on, man. Extend this guy.
And to think I've heard rumors that the Mariners are interested, and I'm like, please, no, absolutely not.
And then their GM is going to trade him back to us in 2 months for
like James Paxton for Justice Sheffield.
He's gonna trade us. He's gonna trade us DJ LeMahieu, take half the contract, trade it to us for like Siegler and I don't know, maybe who's that guy we have that works in the outfield? I forget his name. The guy who ran into the wall. That's not Clint Frazier.
I have no idea. I'm lost. Alrighty. Well, that's everything I got to. Hope everyone enjoyed the podcast. We will definitely have another podcast shortly. I'm not sure when that will be, but hopefully within the next 2 to 3 days by the time this one gets uploaded on the 12th of September. So hopefully the Yankees continue their winning streak. Hopefully the pitching continues to come through. Hopefully the offense continues to produce. And the Yankees get back on track. And, with Judge and Stanton ramping up and Gio coming back shortly, hopefully things are starting to look up from here. So other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, and we'll see you guys later.